Welcome.
You are watching Line Screw 1. Well, isn't that special? Hardly a lineup coming back into Canada. Well, hello tubers. Hope you're doing well wherever you are in this crazy YouTube universe. Today I am back to another undisclosed location here on the continent, and going on the road soon with the RV. And it is 10 years, can you believe it, 10 years living full-time in the RV, other than when I'm traveling, which, you know, the last 14 months has been a lot. But I just wanted to provide a little bit of advice and a little bit of perspective, I guess, to how I can live in my RV full-time and what it's like and what you can do. Because I think what you need to take from this conversation isn't like the poverty gurus of cheap RV living, you know, Bob Wells or Carolyn's RV life. You know, they're kind of the poverty advocates of the RV life, where they say, look, you got a shitty life, you got no money, you're gonna have to live a crappy life in your Prius or your beat up old RV, and suck it up and live for free out in the desert and hide away from humanity, and that's your station in life. Where I'm the opposite. I'm a believer in people's ability to do things and to have opportunity and create opportunity for themselves, and to chase it in whatever way you can, because let's face it, we all have different aptitudes, different abilities, different ages, but there is so much opportunity even for those that are partially or even fully disabled. I'm always amazed at the resilience of humanity. But, you know, living in an RV full-time for 10 years is not for everyone. Now, the reason I could get away with it, and how I actually made it pay for itself, that's the key thing you need to take away from this. And I'm going to get into some of the numbers and how this works for me and how it may work for you. But, you know, I'm not a minimalist. I'm a maximalist. I don't have a lot of stupid things, but I have more stuff than I actually need in life, like most people, because we live in a stupid consumer-orientated society. But, you know, the idea of living in an RV to get your life expenses down really, really low so that you can spend money on other things that are maybe frivolous. You know, in the last 14 months, for example, I've passed through London, England twice, an apartment in Gibraltar on the Mediterranean, Cancun, Mexico, Alaska. I did a cruise, the Okanagan. You know, it's just off the top of my head where I've been in the last little while. And all this stuff was not cheap. And even, you know, I credit card churn a lot for bonus stuff. I looked at my statements every couple months. I review things, what's working, what's not, and I go, shit, I've churned like 40 grand last year, at least, on my credit cards for points and cash. And no, I just invest that, or, you know, buy things that I need that I would normally have to anyway, and I pay off the balance. And, you know, and I realized that it's a combination of my planning and a little bit of luck. There's always a little bit of luck. And my station in life based on my age. For example, a few years ago, well, actually not even that long ago, I had many vehicles paying insurance on like 4 vehicles, and of course British Columbia, where my legal residence is, and my vehicles are registered, they went to a no-fault insurance. And I went from paying 5 grand a year to, you know, paying less than half of that. Now, I'm not an advocate for no-fault insurance, and you got no-fault insurance in many jurisdictions around the world, and I realize there's problems with that, but it did reduce my insurance costs, which were 5 grand a year at one point. 5 grand a year. I'm thinking, wow, that's a lot of money just for insurance. And I'm at the lowest rate for risk rating, because I haven't had a claim in decades. So nobody in British Columbia pays less than I do. And that's a factor of many decades of claim-free driving. So, you know, you can't just get that overnight. I get it. Same with my pension. You know, it's easy for me to say, earn a pension like I did with benefits and a life insurance plan and a extended health care plan, blah, blah, blah. But that takes time. But you can do it, because if I can do it, you can do it. So it's kind of that nexus of taking advantage of what you have. And I realized, gee, in my mid-40s that I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to retire early and invest, and, you know, and I remember 20, 25 years ago, I was going through a divorce that I actually wanted and I initiated, and there was times, I had a trophy girlfriend, a washed up model, I had a Jewish lawyer, I had marital debt, I had my own living expenses. You add it up, I was probably living on 200% of my income at that time. And you can't do that for very long because you're going to dig a big hole. So I learned my lesson. Life changes, and I wound up buying this RV that I'm living in, the same one that I've had for years. And I was living in Vancouver, in the city of Vancouver, not in the suburbs, and I realized, gee, fall's coming, and I can't park this on the street. I got no place to park it, and I'm gonna have to pay a couple $100 a month just to store it, plus the insurance cost. And I'm thinking, hey, I'll just live in it one winter. Let's see if I can make it through one winter. And that one winter, as an experiment, has now turned to 10 years. But here's the good news. This is what you need to take from it. I now have my living expenses down below 20% of my entire net income. And I do a lot of tax planning strategy to minimize my tax. Like I do a lot of investing, and I use a tax sheltered an account, TFSA here in Canada. Canadians will know what I'm talking about, tax-free savings account. I know there are similar types of devices in the USA, like like a self-directed Roth IRA. I know there's rules for pulling it out. The rules are different here in Canada, but I structure things so that if I, like I made a fair bit of money off of Tesla. For those of you who followed, you probably realize that I've talked about Tesla here and there. I'm not a big fanboy of Elon at all. I'm just an investor, and when I see something's overvalued or undervalued, I will jump in appropriately. And if you were to ask me right now about Tesla, I've closed all my positions. I had a short position that I closed in a video from my apartment in Gibraltar in January. And now I'm seeing Tesla's a little overvalued for me. That's just my opinion. I don't want you to use this advice, because it isn't advice for you. It's just what I'm saying, what I think, and what I would do right now. So I'm looking at Tesla again, thinking, yeah, it's overvalued. Probably another opportunity, because I bought Tesla at $100 and wrote it over $200 a share. Cashed it out tax-free in the TFSA account. I just take advantage of all the laws that surround me. Because obviously my audience is from around the world, and everybody's in a different situation, different tax situation. So I play all these games, the credit card game. I live a minimalist life in terms of what my total expenses are, but I'm a maximalist in the sense that, if a friend calls me and says, hey, let's jump on a plane and go somewhere, I have the means to do that because my income relative to my expenses are low. But I always need air conditioning in the summer. I always need heat in the winter. I like to have at least 1 or 2 showers a day. So I'm not scrimping on the dumb things. I'm not living out in the desert or in the forest like here. I don't want to live in the forest with no utilities or ability to keep myself comfortable. That sucks, just doing without. And there's these penny pinchers that you run into that they'll steal condiments from McDonald's and toilet paper from the gas station and sniff off the Wi-Fi from the local church. And they're parking on the street and annoying people. No, that's a real ultimate cheapskate idiot way of doing things. Just find a way. And what I would suggest, I'll give you examples from my life. I have spent months on a farm, on a friend's farm. They needed security because they got a lot of equipment. And I said, dude, I'll give you a couple $100 a month. 30 amp hookup, sewer, water, I'm good. I can come and go as I want. And it's cheap. And in fact, there was months where I would probably use more water and electricity than I paid him. Same with, I lived off-grid a couple summers ago out in Clearwater. I can say where I was now, because at the time I didn't say where I was, but I had a friend with some undeveloped land outside of Clearwater, and he wasn't using it. And he said, I could use it for free. And I said, no, I'm not a freeloader. I said, hey, can I just use it for 4 months over the summer? And I'll pay you what your property tax is. So I paid him about $300 a month. After 4 months, it covered his property taxes. Win-win for both. I had a place to stay. He got his property taxes covered. So I think that's great. And these type of opportunities, if you look for them, you'll find them. Keep in mind, there's lots of other jobs. There's security jobs, there's work sites where people are doing remote construction. They need somebody in an RV to park there to watch their very expensive equipment. You can volunteer to do that and say, hey, I just need a place to fill up and dump and run some electricity for my air conditioning or my heat. And Bob's your uncle. There you go. Just sniff out the deals, watch your money, get your expenses down as low as possible, and have RV living pay for itself. Now, I know there's a lot of people that they buy an RV, they just want to be a weekend warrior, go out on the weekends, maybe take the family out 2-3 weeks out of the year. That's great. But if you want to go full time, you got to have the money. And you might as well find a way to save the money as you're doing it, because you got to live, you got to feed yourself. In fact, probably the biggest wasteful thing that I do financially is food, because I'm just feeding myself. I don't even have a dog anymore. Sammy the Pooper died about a year ago of cancer. I don't have the vet bills anymore. I don't have to feed her. I'm not suggesting that people shouldn't have a dog, but I'm in that situation because she's passed on. Just like I'm in the situation of really low car insurance because I have less vehicles now. I'm in a no-fault jurisdiction now, and I have decades free of claims, so nobody can pay less for insurance, and don't scrimp on insurance. Now, it's a boring topic, but, carry enough liability to protect yourself, and, RV towing from AAA and things like that. It pays for itself, and it's handy. It makes you sleep better at night, knowing that if you had a total loss in your RV and you're 1,000 miles from home, well, at least they're going to write a check. So, the cheapest insurance isn't always the best. So make sure you only do business with insurance companies that will pay. And don't play the stupid game of registering your vehicle in a different jurisdiction where you actually don't live, because if you have a big claim, those insurance companies are going to find out you actually only live there on paper and you're pulling a con, and they probably won't pay. So don't play that game. So anyway, I'm just here to actually instill some positivity that if I can do it, you can do it. And living in your RV for 10 years, it's not for everybody. But if you do it right, you can do it cheap, and you can have that extra money to go take yourself to Paris Disneyland like I did a few years ago. Go RVing in New Zealand and rent an RV because you can afford it. Go to Hawaii in the wintertime like I often do. Do all these things. If you want to go to a museum or go for dinner with a friend, you can afford it because your cost of living is so low. In fact, I just realized that I can probably get it down to 10% with a few tweaks. I still have a storage locker full of a lot of crap, of things I'd love to give away, and even shrink my life even more. But I've had this storage locker for probably 12, 13 years. In fact, I've paid so much for the storage locker that you probably could have replaced everything inside of it, maybe twice, versus all the money I've spent for the locker. So if I clean that out, I can save a monthly fee on that. I have an expensive, Chevys Regal cell phone plan where I can call all over the place for free. And there are a lot more competitors now that I could probably switch to. So I'm looking at doing that. And a few other things like food. I think I've hinted that I waste a lot on food because I'm just feeding myself. And often, I buy food that I want, but I only eat part of it. And then by the time I get back to it, it's no longer fit for human consumption and I throw it out. So I've got room to improve on my expenses even then. Now, and here's the funniest thing that I find. Over the years in the comments section, I get these two big disconnects on both sides that make wrong assumptions about my financial situation. On one extreme, there's people, a lot of you, think that I'm extremely wealthy because, 1 minute they see me in one country, they see me buying this, they see me in an apartment or flying business class, because I often don't like to fly economy. And they think I'm really wealthy. I'm not. And then the opposite, there's people that think I'm white trash, complete poverty struck. But if I was poverty struck, how would I be flying, business class and doing these things? I'm not living on credit. I'm not living on an inheritance. I'm not a tax-free Canadian lottery winner. But there's the people that think I'm really broke. And neither extremes are true. I'm in that mucky middle of what people, earn. That mucky middle of somewhere between middle class, I don't even know what middle class means anymore. I'm sure you don't either, because I think the definition of middle class has changed. But, I've realized there's a lot of things in life you can control. You can control how many children you have. I controlled that by having 0 as the number. I'm not saying don't have kids. I'm just saying for me, that was a better choice, and it saved me a lot of money. I didn't have to pay to raise them. I didn't have to pay child support when I decided I didn't want to be married anymore. I didn't have to pay for their university education. So that worked for me. You will have different choices that you wish to make, and I get it, and I'm cool with that, because it's your money, it's your life, you do as you wish. But there's a time for everything, and when you're getting older, you're just chasing the almighty dollar all the time. It kind of sucks, but I was lucky. I put a lot of things into place where typically in an average year I have around 7 income sources, and that's nice, because sometimes you're up on one and low on another, and it's all nice. And just live within your means, pay your bills on time, be charitable when you can, and just live your life and make RV living work for you as a tool. And in fact, I personally know other RVers that have done what I've done, and they're fairly well off, and they did it quite successfully. They weren't, like big advocates of, hey, live in your RV and this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, because it's not. It's not for everybody. But for those who play the game properly, you can save a lot of money, and you can use that money to do other things, because money's just a tool. It's neither good nor bad or evil nor, heavenly. Money's a tool that you can use to convert to human experiences. And that's it. There's nothing magical about money. And trust me, I've made a lot of bad money choices in the past. Buying cars, back in the day. I mean, God forbid, I wouldn't want to buy a brand new car now and see the depreciation, or I wouldn't want to finance a new car with these interest rates. But, I did all the things everybody else did. You buy a new car for 30, 40 grand, and then 7, 8 years later, you got 1 million miles on it, and the damn thing's worth 4 grand. Well, guilty as charged. I've done it. So, anyway, I just want to inspire you that do it right, get creative, make RV life work for you, and live within your means and enjoy your life, because this is all you got, man. This is all you got before the dirt sleeps. So, enjoy it. Be kind. Be nice. Oh boy, I'm almost sounding like a lefty, but I'm not. Sorry. Conservative values always step in. Pay your bills, be self-sufficient. That's the most important thing. And be proud of being self-sufficient, because a lot of people put themselves in a trap where they can't be. So I believe in you. I think you can do it. And if you want to do it, go for it. If you don't, keep living your life however you want. But that's my 2 cents. And I guess I'll see you on the road. Take care. And in the meantime, folks, put your comments down below. Keep your wheels to the ground. Over and out.
I got you.